So this is Bibles Down, where we unsurprisingly put our Bibles down and we talk about information that is more widely accepted than just the information that's found in the Bible. Today we're going to be talking about the heartbeat bill. According to the National Catholic Reporter, the bill prohibits abortions past the point that a fetal heartbeat is detectable in the womb. And they say in most cases this occurs around 6 weeks of pregnancy. They say that the bill is now bound for the desk of Republican Governor Brian Kemp, who has repeatedly expressed his dedication to the bill, posting in a tweet on the same day of its passage that Georgia values life. The legislature's bold action reaffirms our priorities and who we are as a state. Now, in response to this bill, and specifically Georgia's support of this bill, which is fighting for a woman's right to life as well as a man's right to life, a few actors have come together to sign a petition about this bill. So let's check that out. The petition is addressed to Governor Kemp and this other guy, and it says, "Gentlemen, as actors, our work brings us to Georgia. We've always found your state to be populated with friendly and caring people." So the petition starts by buttering up these gentlemen. They let these guys know that they've always found their state to be populated with friendly and caring people. They go on to say, "We found the hotels in which we stay and restaurants in which we dine while filming there to be comfortable and of a high quality." So just more buttering up here, just making out with a donkey. Kissing. "We've been glad to bring billions of dollars in revenue to support Georgia's schools, parks, and communities." So this is pretty funny. What they're talking about here is just money that they've spent that's gone towards people in the state of Georgia. So it'd just be like me going to Georgia, spending billions of dollars on throw pillows from a local shop, realizing that I just helped out that community in Georgia. I'm also paying taxes on that, so I'm helping out the state of Georgia, which is going towards the schools and the parks. And then me saying, "Oh, I'm glad that I brought in billions of dollars in revenue to support Georgia's schools, parks, and communities." It's not like helping out the community was my intent. I wanted billions of dollars worth of throw pillows. I am building a fort. I am doing it right. So what these petitioners are basically saying is, I'm glad to have spent a lot of money while in Georgia. The thing is though, they would much rather not have to pay a cent to Georgia. One of the reasons why they go to Georgia is because they can save money when filming in Georgia. Plus, Georgia has the locations that filmmakers can use. Georgia cooperates with the filmmakers to make use of those locations. So they claim that they're glad to spend their money there, but that's more of an afterthought. This whole bit about supporting Georgia's schools, parks, and communities, that was never a factor. It's not like filmmakers are sitting down trying to figure out, okay, which state's school system do we want to support? Georgia? We want to go with Georgia? Screw the rest of them? Okay, definitely Georgia. This has nothing to do with where they decide to film. They're not having meetings about which state parks they want to spruce up. They need a location that works for what they're filming. That's the goal. That's what they're paying the money for. But here's an idea. To all those actors who signed this petition, if you're really all so glad to bring billions of dollars in revenue to support Georgia's schools, parks, and communities, how about you donate billions of dollars to support Georgia's schools, parks, and communities too? I mean, that way they can really know that you're glad about it, and then the people of Georgia can realize that you're not just full of it. How about that? The point is they're paying Georgia money for services that Georgia offers. And while it is possible for someone to frequent a certain business because they are glad about giving their money to that business, it seems strange that this is the first time we're hearing from these actors about their support of Georgia's schools, parks, and communities. It's almost as if they manufactured the gladness just for this petition. It's almost as if they're acting. The letter continues, "But we cannot in good conscience continue to recommend our industry remain in Georgia if HB 481 becomes law." So HB 481 is the heartbeat bill, and I think one of the droids in Star Wars, because it sounds similar. Stupid joke. Anyway, these actors are threatening to pull a recommendation. So what? Most of the actors who signed this petition are not in any position to have their recommendations matter when making a film. I mean, Nick Thune, I'm a fan of his comedy and I think he's hilarious, but his recommendations don't really have that much weight in the industry. Same goes for people like Felicia Day. Again, I'm a huge fan. Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, The Guild, Supernatural, Greg Grunberg, I always enjoy seeing him show up in things, Alias, Lost. I have nothing against any of these actors. But let's be realistic here. None of these actors have that big of a pull on the industry. So it's like, yeah, you're making this threat, but who really cares? This would be like me calling up Hasbro and saying, "Hey Hasbro, I'm not going to recommend Funglish to the Queen of England. The Queen of England doesn't take my board game suggestions. I try, but she don't take them. So who cares if I don't make a recommendation to her about a certain board game? Because my recommendation didn't mean much to begin with." And even for the people who actually have some sort of say in this issue, and their recommendation might actually carry some weight, at the end of the day, the top priority is still going to be location, and is it going to save the film money? Are we supposed to believe that these filmmakers condone all the actions of all the places that they've ever filmed in? Like, what are they trying to pull here? Also, they're not necessarily saying that they won't recommend Georgia. They're just saying that they can't do so in good conscience. So cool. Just recommend it without a good conscience. Recommend it with a sad conscience. Nobody cares. The petition continues by saying this dangerous and deeply flawed bill mimics many others which have already been deemed unconstitutional. So this is purely just an opinion, and that's fine. Anyone can have opinions if they want. But the elected officials in Georgia, the ones who are elected by the people of Georgia, don't need to bend to the needs of these opinionated actors, most of whom aren't even from Georgia. The petition continues, and this part is in reference to the men that this petition is addressed to. They say, as men who identify as small government conservatives, we remind you that government is never bigger than when it is inside a woman's body or in her doctor's office. So this again is just another opinion. Anyone's free to have whatever opinion they want. I disagree with their last opinion. I disagree with this opinion. We all have a right to have our own opinion. That still doesn't mean that the elected officials in Georgia need to bend to the will of someone's opinions. That doesn't make any sense. Everyone has a different opinion, even among actors. This is a small list of actors. There's a lot of actors who are in favor of the heartbeat bill and what Georgia is doing. There's also a lot of actors who are not in favor of the heartbeat bill, and they're also not in favor of this petition that these other actors are threatening Georgia with. So Georgia's decision, whatever that may be, whether they stay in favor of the heartbeat bill or they go against the heartbeat bill, their decision is not going to please everyone, but it doesn't have to. The people of Georgia elected a governor. That governor is in office because the people of Georgia wanted him to make decisions for Georgia. Not some group of actors who are so arrogant that they think their money makes them more important than the people of Georgia. Now, while on the topic of opinions here, this petition is being largely supported by Alyssa Milano. She used to act in an old show called Charmed, and I guess she must act still. Alyssa tweeted out, "I don't believe my personal beliefs of which we can't confirm should override scientific facts and what we can confirm." That's an interesting statement, seeing as Alyssa is constantly doing just that. So one of Alyssa's personal beliefs of which she can't confirm is that government is never bigger than when it is inside a woman's body or in her doctor's office. So if Alyssa was tweeting truthfully here, then why is she allowing this personal belief to override the scientific facts and what we can confirm? Because what we can confirm is that although life is a continuous process, fertilization is a critical landmark because under ordinary circumstances, a new genetically distinct human organism is thereby formed. Science teaches us that human life begins at fertilization. So fertilization occurs even before a heartbeat is detectable. So the heartbeat bill is protecting anyone with a detectable heartbeat, but it's still not protecting all life, because fertilization is when life begins for a human. But even with science telling us all that, Alyssa thinks that the heartbeat bill is dangerous and deeply flawed. This is yet another one of Alyssa's personal beliefs of which she cannot confirm. So just to make sure that's clear, Alyssa believes that the heartbeat bill, which would literally protect the lives of humans, both male and female, Alyssa thinks that that bill is dangerous. She goes even further than that. She claims that the heartbeat bill is the most anti-woman bill of its kind in the country. So just to get the facts out there, every single abortion, and there are hundreds of thousands of them performed each year, every single abortion ends with at least one human losing their life, hundreds of thousands of which are women's lives. Meanwhile, the heartbeat bill would result in the protection of women. So we have Alyssa hoping to stop the heartbeat bill, which could result in the death of several women. And then we have Georgia supporting the heartbeat bill, which protects the lives of hundreds of thousands of women. Yet Alyssa Milano, in her infinite wisdom, believes that the heartbeat bill is the most anti-woman bill of its kind in the country. Does she think people are idiots? Here's the thing, neither side is being anti-woman. Both sides, both pro-life and pro-choice, are fighting for women's rights. The difference is the right that they're fighting for. One side is fighting for a woman's right to life, the other side is fighting for a woman's right to choose to end the life of her child. And also I want to point out that doesn't mean that pro-choice people don't also want women to live. Pro-choice people are not anti-life. It's just that their priorities are different. They think that the choice to take a life is more important than the right to have a life. I obviously disagree with that. I feel like the most important right to have is the right to life, because if that's not protected, then none of the other rights are even going to matter. But that's my opinion. I'm not going to force that onto anyone else. Now, going back to the article from the National Catholic Reporter, this kind of sums up exactly what I'm saying about priorities. They write that Dr. Melissa Kotke, sorry if I messed up the pronunciation, but anyway, Dr. Melissa was against the bill, and she said it's extremely dangerous for lawmakers to presume that they are better equipped than women and their health care providers to judge what is appropriate medical care. And then Dr. Kathy Altman, a former abortion practitioner, remarked that we have convinced young women that an unplanned pregnancy is the worst thing that can happen to them, and their right to reproductive freedom is more important than their baby's right to live. So Kathy nails it right there. Somehow, and I have no idea how this happened, but somehow people have gotten to a point where they're so gullible that they actually think that an unplanned pregnancy is worse than planning to end the life of an innocent human being. So I have a question for everybody who's watching, and I hope there's some pro-choice people watching this, because you shouldn't be afraid to hear other people's opinions. That's what we're doing here. We're evaluating what the pro-choice side has to say. But here's a question for you. If you had to choose between being pregnant or being killed at the request of your mother, Which would you rather? My guess is that no one's going to choose death. Even as a man, I would much rather be pregnant than dead. I'd have to pass it like a stone and make sure they didn't cut the wrong cord, but I would do it. Anyway, Alyssa also accused Georgia of not continuing to foster a pro-film environment if they allow the heartbeat bill. Just want to make sure we get all the facts straight on this one too. The heartbeat bill allows for more women to not have their lives taken away by other women. The heartbeat bill doesn't mean there's going to be more women, but it does mean there's going to be more women who are living. And when it comes to job interviews, it's usually the living women who get the job. We ran some extensive tests here. We've been kicked out of the morgue. But yeah, the people who get hired tend to be the living ones. So what Georgia is doing with a heartbeat bill is they're actually increasing the number of living women, which means that the possibility for future directors, writers, actresses, and other careers for women in film, that goes up. So not only is Georgia fostering a pro-film environment, but they're also increasing their odds of having more people interested in film to film in Georgia, because they're not allowing them to be killed off before they can actually become interested in film. Seems like a pretty smart business practice to me. I mean, my dad always said, first rule of business, don't kill potential consumers. I've got that crocheted on a pillow. I would show it to you, but finding it would be a real needle in a haystack kind of situation right now. I got a lot of pillows. But again, building a fort. That's why I haven't killed any of you. Because if you're dead, then I lose views. You're alive today because of my savvy business practices. You're welcome. But anyway, Alyssa claims that she doesn't believe that her personal beliefs that she can't confirm should override the scientific facts and what we can confirm, but here she is letting her personal unconfirmed feelings override the facts. The petition goes on to say this bill would remove the possibility of women receiving reproductive health care before most even know that they are pregnant, and force many women to undergo unregulated, hidden procedures at great risk to their health. First of all, they write reproductive health care, but what they really mean is abortion, because even if a person didn't find out that they were having a child until a heartbeat was detected, they can get the reproductive health care that they need. The only thing being taken away here is abortion, and for that to fall under the category of reproductive health care is laughable, because abortion is ending the reproduction. If people are going to classify abortion as health care, then Ted Bundy was a healthcare professional. As for this part about the bill forcing many women to undergo unregulated hidden procedures at great risk to their health, the bill would not force them to do this. That's like saying that anti-drug laws force many people to undergo unregulated hidden methods of obtaining and using drugs at great risk to their health. Or anti-gun laws force many people to undergo unregulated hidden dealings at great risk to their health. These laws are not forcing these things. These things were possibilities before the laws were in place. These things remain possibilities after the laws were in place. No one is forcing anyone to go down these roads. And seeing as these types of laws would make these types of things illegal, these laws would be doing the exact opposite of forcing people to do these things. They would literally be telling them not to do these things. But here's the thing, when you buy drugs legally or illegally, nobody has to die. When you buy a gun legally or illegally, nobody has to die. But when you get an abortion legally or illegally, somebody always has to die. And the somebody who always has to die is always innocent. The child is the one who's dying every time there's an abortion. It's the child's body that is losing its life. It's the child's body that's being ripped apart. So yet again, Alyssa Milano claims that she doesn't believe that her personal beliefs that she can't confirm should override the scientific facts and what we can confirm, yet she is signing this petition which does override the facts with her feelings. So this petition just continues to make no sense, and it goes on to say, we can't imagine being elected officials who had to say to their constituents, I enacted a law that was so evil, it chased billions of dollars out of our state's economy. It's not the most effective campaign slogan, but rest assured we'll make it yours should it come to pass. This is the precipice on which you stand. So first of all, they're threatening these two guys about making them a new campaign slogan. But if you look at the names on this list, these folks haven't even done a good job of promoting their own names. I had to Google over half of them. I didn't know what a James Cromwell was. I recognized him from iRobot after I saw his picture, but not based on his name. Most of these actors are still having trouble spreading two words, their first and last name. Yet we're supposed to believe that they're going to successfully promote an 18-word campaign slogan that isn't catchy and doesn't rhyme? Did these people even understand how marketing works? Even the recognizable names on this list don't have the skills to make that kind of a thing happen. So I'm pretty sure that David and Brian can rest easy tonight, because I doubt any of these actors will be able to make good on that threat. Secondly though, how is this law evil? Because this law saves lives. Without this law, innocent people can die. Did these actors even read the petition? And if they did read it, did they even think about what they were assigning their names to? A lot of these actors I actually enjoy watching. Michael Ian Black, the first time I saw your acting was in Ed, and if I'm flipping through channels and I happen to see you on there, I'll go back to see what you're acting in now. I'm not making fun of any of these actors, but I would seriously like to know if they even put thought into what they were signing their name to. Because it's a real hard sell to say that this law, which is made to save lives, is somehow so evil. And also, I just want to make sure this is clear. What the actors have signed their name to here is saying that if you don't allow people to have the right to kill their children before they are born in your state, then you will lose money from people who want to allow abortions. Ashley Brachter. Again, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but Ashley, the lead actress in the pro-life movie Unplanned, and native Georgian, says, "In Georgia, we care just as much about being pro-life as being pro-film. We don't believe in putting a price tag on human life." National Catholic Reporter also says Susan B. Anthony List also applauded the actions of the legislature in the face of high-profile pressure. President Marjorie Dannenfelser, could no one be a Smith here? What the heck? Marjorie said in a statement that Georgia lawmakers courageously stood up to Hollywood bullies by sending this compassionate bill to Governor Kemp for his signature. The beating heart of a vulnerable unborn child should awaken the conscience of our nation to the violence of abortion. So Marjorie has that exactly right. These actors who are backing this petition, they are being bullies to Georgia. They think that they should get their way or else. They go on to say, "We want to stay in Georgia. We want to continue to support the wonderful people, businesses, and communities we have come to love in the Peach State." Did they not realize that they could do that even if they're not filming in Georgia? Like I said before, if they really want to support these wonderful people, these businesses and communities that they have come to love in the Peach State, donate. Send a huge donation their way. If you really want to continue to support them, you don't have to film there to support them. It's not like these people made the laws. These actors want to change what the government is doing, right? That's not the people's fault. So to all the actors on this list, what's stopping you from supporting these wonderful people, even if you don't film there? Or is it possible that you really didn't care about the people of Georgia or the businesses and communities of Georgia, but you thought it would sound good in your petition? They go on to say, "But we will not do so silently. And we will do everything in our power to move the industry to a safer state for women if HB 481 becomes law." Just pointing out the irony here, they claim to be wanting a safer state for women, yet they are threatening to leave the state because it won't allow people to kill women once a heartbeat is detected. Seriously, I'm a huge fan of the work of a lot of these actors. I'm still going to watch your work even though we have differing opinions, because our differing opinions don't really play a role as to whether or not I think you're a good actor. I watch your acting work based on whether or not I think you are a good actor. But seriously, did you actors even think before signing this thing? It closes by saying, "You have a choice, gentlemen. We pray you make the right one. With love for the people of Georgia and in solidarity with women." First of all, I pray that they make the right choice too. I pray that they choose to protect all lives, and I pray that they don't get bullied into abandoning their morals just because of the arrogance of these actors. As for the part about in solidarity with women, I just want to point out the fact that that's only in solidarity with some women, because there are a lot of pro-life women out there. Speaking of, Ashley Brachter, who we looked at earlier, is one of these pro-life women. She's from Georgia. She's also in a new movie called Unplanned. I have not yet seen this movie because I rarely go to the movie theater. I'll usually wait till it comes out on DVD, but I've heard great things about it, so I do want to recommend that you all see Unplanned, whether in the theaters or when it comes out on DVD.
I'm not going to apologize for doing a job that helps women in crisis.
The one thing that all experts agree on is that at this stage, the fetus can't feel anything.
Sorry to bother you, but they need an extra person in the back room. Are you free?
I saw it. It was like it was twisting and fighting for its life.
And the reason I wanted to advertise for them in this video is because I know that people have been trying to make it difficult for this movie to advertise for itself. But even with all those hurdles being thrown in their way, they're still doing great at the box office. So please check that out if you have a chance. It's a true story. That's the petition. I think it would be great if actors would start taking their names off that petition, because I would hope they didn't sign it knowing how flawed it was. But if I were one of the actors on this list, I would be embarrassed to put my name on that. To call a bill that would save lives evil is one of the stupidest things that I've ever heard. Anyway, I'm glad to see that that list of actors is not that long. Tom Hanks wasn't on there, which is great because I'm a huge Tom Hanks fan. But the point is, there are a lot of actors and actresses who did not sign this thing. So please don't let the actions of these actors impact your thoughts about all actors. If you enjoyed this video, please click that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel, making sure that you click that notification bell. That way you're alerted whenever new videos are uploaded. This has been Bibles Down on How to Be Christian. You all have a great day. And to the pro-life people of Georgia, thank you all for supporting a woman's right to life. Thank you for supporting a man's right to life. And I hope you continue to do so. I'm not going to threaten you to do so because I'm not a child, but I do hope that you do so.